book review. I'm doing another one of these. All right. I weirdly enough really enjoyed doing the video on talking about The Hobbit. It's my favorite book. If you didn't see that, I think I can do cards. Would it be up here? Or over here? I think here. I'll put a card and a link in the description if you want to see the video that I did talking about The Hobbit. But today is not about The Hobbit or Middle-earth or J.R. Tolkien for that matter. It is quite the opposite. We're diving into Dune. I'm making this video really for one of two reasons. Number one, it feels like a very good contrast to talk about since I just did one on The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings world, and it's a very hopeful world. It is dark, but it's a very hopeful environment. And then you have Dune, where when it first came out, it was a little bit misunderstood. A lot of people thought that Paul Atreides was an actual hero, when in reality he's an anti-hero. He's kind of a villain. He's a hero for the wrong reasons in the way that people make him a hero. But he is a type of hero. He's an anti-hero. So I want to talk about these. The other reason I want to talk about these because Dune Messiah, or not Dune Messiah, Dune Part 3 is coming out. Dune Part 1 and 2, I really liked. I read Dune before Dune Part 1 and 2, and I've read Dune Messiah. So I know that Dune Part 3 is adapting this book. I've heard that there are parts of Children of Dune that are also getting adapted in the third part of the movie, so I might have to read that, but I'm just talking about these two books. It's kind of hard to talk about Dune and not talk about Dune Messiah, so I'm kind of putting them together, so I think this will be fun. So if you like Dune, give this video a like. I'm gonna talk about Dune first. I finished reading Dune the year that the first movie came out, when it was just called Dune. We didn't know it was called Dune Part 1. It was just called Dune. I read the book. I really liked it. One of the things I really like about this book is that it doesn't pull any punches from just continuing to build the world that you're in. J.R. Tolkien's method of world building is very much, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna tell you about these people, and I'm gonna tell blah 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 blah. It's very different compared to Frank Herbert, who wrote Dune. Frank Herbert is very much just going to throw you in head first. He'll explain things as they come, and it is true sci-fi in the sense that it is confusing. Some of it is confusing. Some of it is definitely, it's dense. I'll say it like that. It's dense. But I really enjoyed it. This book and the first movie is very much a setup. I would say. I think the first part of this book is more of a setup than anything. Paul Atreides is a very interesting character because, especially since he's pretty young. He's going through his dad being a leader of House Atreides, his mother. He knows that he is a part of the Bene Gesserit by proxy because of the things that his mother's been teaching him. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on in the Dune universe that you learn right out the gate, and then things that they explain to you later as well. So it's a very dense book. They throw you in head first. I really like the way that Paul is written by Frank Herbert because he's not necessarily relatable. He's just an interesting guy. I never at one point was going, I relate to this guy. And typically when I read a book, I like to find a character I relate to, which I talked about The Hobbit in my last video. I find Bilbo very relatable. I do not find Paul Atreides relatable in the slightest, but I find him very interesting. So in reading Dune, I was very interested in the world. That's the thing that I was intrigued by more than anything, in the environment that they were in. So when they were on the original planet that House Atreides was over, the name is slipping my memory. But then when they go to Arrakis, it's a very, very interesting world that they're in. The characters as well, like Duncan, Idaho. You're meeting the Lady Jessica. You're meeting Leto. You meet Gurney. Very interesting characters, all of them. They all have things about them that you as soon as you meet them and they tell you about them, you go, there's more to this person. And you don't know, but you learn more as the story goes. I like that they're all kind of cloaked in mystery to some extent. Dune was great. I really like it. The way that it ends is, it's a setup book. It definitely is. It's a setup book. which is why I want to talk about the main book that I wanted to talk about. But I knew I couldn't talk about Dune Messiah unless I talked about this. So if you like sci-fi, definitely give it a read. If you like the Dune movies, give this a read. It's very good. A lot of credit to Denis Villeneuve. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's the director of the Dune movies, Dune Part 1 and 2, and soon to be 3. He did a great job adapting this book to the screen. I honestly think he's one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation. I really like him quite a bit. So, Dune Messiah. I finished reading this book last year. This book is 336 pages. So it's a bit longer than The Hobbit, but I will say it's like the text is a little bit different. Depending on your copy, it's going to look a little bit different, but Dune Messiah was a very good, quick read for me. I got through it very quick. I was hooked from the moment that I got into it, and I was immediately going, man, this is a significant jump from the first book. They jumped 17 years into the future. Oh, by the way, spoilers, because I think I'm going to say some things that will probably spoil Dune Part 3, so I should say that from the get-go. They jumped 17 years into the future. And Paul is no longer just the Paul that we knew in the first book. He's now the Emperor. He stepped fully into the role as Emperor, and he rules over the galaxy with an iron fist. Paul holds no punches. He holds no bars. So he's very much, in the sense, a bit of a dictator. He is. He's slaughtered billions across the galaxy. His jihad is what it's called. The Fremen and his regime have gone across the galaxy, and they've slaughtered billions in the name of House Atreides. When Dune was originally written, a lot of people saw Paul as a hero, but Frank Herbert wrote the Dune books ultimately as a warning against Messiah figures. I talked about Tolkien in my last video, talking about The Hobbit. Tolkien had a lot of things to say about Frank Herbert and about the world of Dune. He thought it was nihilistic. He did not like it. But to sum it up, Tolkien did not like the Dune world. He did not like what Frank Herbert was putting forward. I do not think that just because someone thought a certain way does not mean that you can't enjoy their work. I really like the work of Frank Herbert. I think that he made a very interesting world. I think he wrote some of the best sci-fi that will ever be written in humankind, in human history. I think that Frank Herbert will go down as one of the greatest sci-fi authors of all time. He already is, and he will stay up there. But just because he views the world in a certain way, I don't think means that we have to just like throw him out the window as Christians. Personally, I think it's good for us to read books and consume art by people that think differently than us, because you're going to see a glimpse into their worldview and understand how they are. And hopefully you can use that to convince them of your worldview, so that way you can know where they're coming from, even if you think that it's bizarre or lunacy that they believe. If you were to ask me, do you dislike Frank Herbert's worldview? Yes, I do dislike his worldview. I do think that his warning against Messiah figures, though, is very valid. We can definitely get tied up in putting a figure up that we look at as like a chosen one type figure, or they're I'm going to use it carefully again because it's a biblical phrase that some people who are, born for such a time as this, there are people that are like that. But we need to be careful with who we put on platforms. We need to be careful with who we exalt and who we glorify. And Paul Atreides, I think, is a good story to look at to show, if you take it to its utmost extreme, what you can do with things like prophecies and things like foretellings, and even just the idea of a messianic figure. I digress. Paul's full-on emperor, but as a result of being the emperor and rising to this position of power, there are people who want to kill him. You're introduced to a character named Idris, a very evil and conniving character, and then you're also introduced to a character called Scythail, which is a shapeshifter, and his character is actually maybe my favorite in this book. I really love the character of Scythail. I think that he called it Dune Messiah purposely because we need to look at Paul as a type of false Messiah, because if you look at it through that lens, you almost kind of understand where Scytale is coming from. You understand why he's doing what he's doing. So in my opinion, when I read this, I was very interested in his character, and I was also almost siding with him in portions of the book. Even though I liked Paul, I think I was siding with him in sections, but then I understood where Scytale was coming from. I understood where Edris was coming from. I understood where the Bene Gesserit were coming from. This is a very, very much a political drama. I remember I was listening to Denis Villeneuve talk about the upcoming Dune Part 3 movie, and he said that that Dune Part 3 is more of like an action thriller. This book feels like a thriller. It feels like a political thriller to me. So I really enjoyed it. It's got one of my favorite endings as well that I've read in a book. I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't read it. I'm not going to say anything, but man, oh man, does it have an ending. It was one where I literally finished it and I went to my wife and was just going, "You won't believe this." I was freaking out. I had to tell someone about it. She probably has no memory of that, but hopefully she's surprised by the movie when it comes out. If you're into sci-fi, if you're into the story of Dune, if you've watched the movies, or even if you've heard about the books, and maybe this is your sign, maybe this is it, telling you that you should read Dune and Dune Messiah, I'd highly recommend it. If you're one of those people who's not really into deep sci-fi or into the Dune world, I don't think you would enjoy it, really. I don't think you would. As I said, though, the story of Paul Atreides is one where I believe that Frank Herbert was trying to say, hey, we need to be careful about these types of figures and these types of people. I think that it's a good read in that regard, but if you don't like the sci-fi aspect of it, I understand that this book can be quite a drag, and that this book can be quite a drag. And then on a complete side note, I feel like you have to talk about the movies if you're going to talk about the books at all. I love the Dune movies. They're great. They're incredibly well casted. One of my favorite castings has actually been Josh Brolin as Gurney, having Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Zendaya as Chani, and then even Javier Bardem as Stilgar. Great casting. I look forward to the upcoming Dune movie. I think that Robert Pattinson is going to do an amazing job as Scytale. He's going to be great. And I also look forward to Anya Taylor-Joy as well, playing as Paul's sister. It's going to be a very, very good movie, I have a feeling. And then also, on a completely other note too, Rebecca Ferguson as the Lady Jessica. Every movie I have seen Rebecca Ferguson in, I have absolutely loved it. Even her show that she's in called Silo on Apple TV+, great show. Those are also a pretty good set of books that I might touch on in another video. So on that note, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to. I talk about books. I'm a filmmaker as well. I probably will have other videos on this channel besides just this type of stuff. Do people ring the bell anymore? Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, go check out Dune. You'll like it. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.